Listen, summer is quickly approaching, and you can't be wearing your boring winter watches. A field watch is great for the spring, a dress watch is perfect for the autumn, but when the sun comes out, you need something fun. You need something that's bright and full of energy to match the season. I will not allow my viewers to be caught down at the beach wearing a boring black dial watch. So if your current collection is lacking some colour, consider one of the 10 great watches in today's video. Every budget covered, every style covered, maximum energy. Let's do it. Now, if you're somebody who enjoys having a lot of choice when it comes to picking a dial colour, then this first watch is definitely the one to go for. In fact, you have that much choice with this watch, you'll probably need a holiday after choosing from the amount of decision anxiety that this watch gives you. Now, I was super boring when I bought this watch for review and went for the black dial. At that point, England hadn't seen sun in about 4 months, and I forgot that summer even existed. However, I can obviously attest to the quality of this watch, whilst advising that you go for some actual colour instead. For some strange reason, I low-key love the gold version of this watch that has the red dial. I just think that it delivers a lot of fun, but I know that's probably a bit of a niche colourway, so obviously find one that suits your style. It's almost guaranteed though that you will be stuck for choice at some point, especially when considering the new small seconds version of this watch that's also perfect for summer. The Tsuyosa is a watch that I've recommended on so many different occasions now, and I will continue to do so, because the quality you get with this watch for the price is simply fantastic. I also feel that the integrated bracelet style is perfect for summer, because this style of watch typically delivers a flashy wrist roll that plays with the light, and because this Citizen has a presidential style bracelet, you absolutely get that flashy look with this watch on wrist. And if you want to see more top 10s like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I make these almost every single weekend. Now, you might think that these next watches are a bit childish, something that you'd find in a Happy Meal, for example, and you'd be absolutely right about that. They are. But they deliver bundles of energy for less than a half-decent smash burger. Many wouldn't even think of the classic F91w as a great summer watch, because the regular black version isn't fit for purpose. But not too long ago, Casio released some new colorways for the F91w that transformed it into a proper summer stunner. I picked up the baby blue F91w a couple of years back now, and it has since been on my summer holidays multiple times. But if blue isn't your color, then check out the other options. My second favourite, and one that I might actually need to pick up for my collection soon, is the mustard. But the colours really do go crazy with these watches, which means that you literally have no excuse to have some energy on your wrist this summer, because these bad boys are as cheap as chips, and you'll likely be able to pick them up from your local watch store. Now, obviously, these don't offer much in terms of durability or quality, but these F91s are known for going way deeper than the 30-meter water resistance rating would suggest. I have absolutely been for a swim with this exact watch, and I haven't seen any problems with it. I actually have a summer holiday coming up within the next few weeks, and this watch will definitely be making the watch roll for the instant cheap fun that it delivers. Now, I actually expect this next watch to already be inside a lot of collections of the people watching, because it's been somewhat of a hype watch recently here on YouTube, and I think many people have joined the train. The Addiesdive AD2030 has become a bit of a hit amongst affordable collectors, mainly for the detail that the dials offer. However, it's not necessarily the details here that make this an excellent summer watch candidate. The popular Sandow version is actually my third place pick of the 3 for a great summer watch, but it's the white and blue dials that for me deliver more so on that maximum energy promise. My number 1 pick here would actually be the version that I had, which is the turquoise. Although the turquoise colour does somewhat wash out those beautiful waves, the dial is still screaming summer. This beautiful shade of blue has somewhat of a metallic glow to it, which is especially noticeable in direct sunlight. Also, I think that the size of this watch at just 36mm makes this a watch that you can wear around just a bit looser, you know, without having a hockey puck wobbling around on your hand. This also means a bit more breeze beneath the watch, so you don't get that horrible sweaty strip that happens when you wear a watch tight in the heat. I felt it necessary to include this watch on today's video because of its price too. $50 for this watch is an absolute bargain for the bundles of joy that it delivers, and I'll leave a link to buy this one in the description. Now, this next one is a piece from my personal collection that I had to pick up for this year's summer. I've always struggled to find a chronograph that really resonates with me. One that, when I open my watch box and, you know, I'm picking a watch in the morning, It draws me in. But from the moment I laid eyes on this watch on Instagram, I knew it was a chronograph that I had to have. This is a proper racing-inspired chronograph by a fairly unknown micro brand called Roue. This is a micro brand that doesn't work with many reviewers here on YouTube, so it's one that you seldom see. But I feel like it's a proper hidden gem when it comes to the affordable chronograph market, especially for those who love a bit of colour and energy in their watches. Now, I went for the white dial version of this watch that has a few spots of colour throughout the dial, which Roue has paired so well with this beautiful yellow strap, by the way. But also check out the blue dial version called the TPS 5 and the graphite dial called TPS 7. My tip would be to put these on a bright coloured rubber strap like mine, which absolutely elevates this watch into a summer banger. I mean, the chronograph function is completely useless on a beach, for example, unless you're going to be timing your next trip to the bar, but they provide a sporty aesthetic that just works in that environment, you know? This watch will definitely be making my watch roll for the upcoming holiday. Now, this next watch is a super recent release, and it was actually one of the watches that inspired the creation of this video. I recently reviewed this beautiful new Spinnaker watch, and it really hit a soft spot with me. I forgave its flaws for its beautiful use of colours, which isn't something that happens very often, by the way, but it's the GMT function on this watch that makes it a fantastic summer option too. On your travels, you'll be able to keep an eye on what time it is back home, all on one dial. It'll remind you of all the peasants back in your hometown that are going on about normal life while you sip a cold drink in the summer rays. All jokes aside, let's be honest, the GMT function is a bit of a novelty when it comes to a summer watch. I really couldn't care less what time it is here in England when I'm sat on a beach in Europe. But the fun of watch collecting is pretending that all of these things are super useful to us and that we couldn't live without them, right? But let's not forget to mention the absolute Viva la vibes that this watch delivers. The yellow on this watch is so much fun, I forgot that I'm nearly 30 years old now. A little trick here is to use the watch on the second supplied strap. The bracelet this watch comes on is fine, but the yellow Tropic pairs perfectly. Also, this watch is swim-proof, so tie up your Speedos and head to the beach. Now, this next one is a watch that I called the perfect affordable summer watch last year, and I think a lot of people agreed with me on that statement because it sold out very quickly. Good news is this watch has recently had a restock and it's back for summer once again. If your summer watch has to be a diver, then going with something like this is the choice to make. And by the way, I do agree that the perfect summer watch is probably a diver, as a dip in the pool obviously requires a watch as a watch nerd. But let's not be boring and go with a black or white dial diver. Something bright and fun like this Phoibos is the way to go. The Phoibos Reefmaster comes in 5 colours, but I'd say only 2 of them suit the topic of this video, and the one that I had and reviewed suits this video perfectly. Phoibos called this dial colour Shamrock Green. First of all, what a refreshingly cool name that is, and secondly, what an absolute killer shade of green this is. The grained texture to the dial really emphasises just how cool that colour is, but let's not forget to mention that little splash of orange on the minute hand, allowing you to pop this watch on a bright orange rubber strap if you have the bottle to rock it. And obviously, because this is a Phoibos, quality and specifications deliver for the price. Also, this watch has insane lume, which is always super fun, obviously. Now, the main watch that actually inspired the creation of this video is these super vibrant chronographs. I recently had these in for review and I was blown away at just how fun these are to wear. Of course, the K-shape and design on these is a bit weird and a bit wacky, with them clearly taking on some vintage design cues, but the unusualness of the design appropriately lends itself to being an epic summertime watch. This watch really drives home that a watch for the summer months should be a statement piece, a watch to turn heads. And that's why the green and gold version of this watch is without question my favourite. Yes, it's a bit gaudy and a bit flashy, but that kind of matches my vibe in the summer. I love slicking my hair back, chucking on my sunglasses and wearing a funky coloured shirt. All these new special models by Stratton go effortlessly with that kind of situation. And for anyone who's also a big car nerd, these watches are actually inspired by vintage sports car models, which truthfully means very little to me, but I think it's a cool feature for the petrol heads. I think that this watch, and probably more so than any other on today's video, really delivers when it comes to style. Because it is quite an unusual shape and design, it stands out and makes you look a bit different. This is the perfect watch to wear sitting back by a beachside bar, enjoying a nice cold beer, forgetting about anything negative and enjoying life to the maximum. Now, this next watch brand was one of the first names that I wrote down when I started writing this video. simply because this British micro brand exclusively produces watches that are begging to see the summer. If you haven't yet heard or considered a Mr. Jones watch, then this summer is the time. Mr. Jones is a watch brand based here in England, where genuine artistic designs created by real working artists come to life. These watches are typically filled with bundles of colour and youth, and some watches have a sarcastic edge to them that the fans of the brand really appreciate, including myself. These watches are all about not taking life too seriously and enjoying the limited time that we do get. They do this by providing just a small slice of fun on the wrist. I reviewed the Paradiso last year, a watch that tells the time using an orca whale as the minute hand and features a number within the sunset for the hours. This jump hour complication is actually fulfilled by a mechanical movement made by Seagull, and although Mr. Jones watches are all about the artistic side of watchmaking, they still do deliver a great spec sheet that most enthusiasts would be happy to wear. But let's not get this confused. These watches are all about having fun. For example, the most popular Mr. Jones watch is the Perfectly Useless Afternoon, which perfectly pictures what the watch is best used for: sitting around, enjoying life, and hopefully spending some time around the pool. Now, this next watch probably has the most vibrant colour combination of any watch on this video, and I think that it has the best spec sheet on today's video too. Now, you are definitely paying for that fantastic spec sheet that this watch has, because it is also the most expensive watch on today's video. But this one's for the collector that needs to have, you know, the top spec watch that's overbuilt and ready for anything. But firstly, just look at this blue and orange combination. It's so colourful, it could potentially take someone's eye out if the light catches it too sharply. But if you feel the need to go scuba diving on your holiday, then the 300-meter water resistance rating will keep you more than covered. Although I am sure the majority of these won't see more than a few light waves in the ocean. This watch also features the premium Miyota 9075 GMT movement, which is what's known as a traveler's GMT. Basically, if you're lucky enough to hop between a lot of time zones frequently, you can very quickly change local time with this movement without changing the home time on the GMT hand. I think that this one's the perfect watch for an enthusiast who enjoys going to the beach and actually getting in the ocean, whether it be doing some snorkeling or just bobbing around, because this watch will cope with almost anything you can throw at it, whilst also looking like a ton of fun. Now, this next watch definitely has the most colour on today's video. That's because it uses almost every colour from the rainbow all under one piece of sapphire. This is what's called a cathedral dial, somewhat emulating the look of a stained glass window. Now, I know for a fact some will look at this dial and feel their heart rate instantly increase because of how crazy this dial is, but if, like me, you appreciate watch designs that are a bit different, then they don't get much more different than this. Now, you actually have two options when it comes to the cathedral dial on this watch: the regular version and a version with a pearl over the top. The pearl version does slightly take away the vibrancy of those colours, but you obviously get a beautiful pearl texture instead. But the straight up energy that the regular version delivers, I'm sure, is more than enough for most. But if these two dials are just too crazy for you, don't worry, you have more options. There's some regular pearl dials that still offer bundles of fun, and even a full lume dial that glows like a nuclear reaction. That's the beauty of this model. It's a microbrand diver that has great choice when it comes to its colours, whilst also providing a fantastic spec sheet for the money. You also get 4 different bezel options with this watch too, so you can somewhat customise this watch to suit your style. But if your watch addiction still isn't satisfied, then go and watch another one of my top 10 videos. It's right here. 10 more picks. You're addicted, so you're gonna love them, aren't you? Let's be honest. I'll see you over there, guys. Bye for now.